I've generated over 1,000 qualified B2B sales opportunities over the last 3 years using cold email. If you're new to cold email, you'll know that the landscape is quickly changing. What worked in 2023 and even in 2024 is quickly playing out. And if you want to win in this new environment, you're going to need strategies that work today in 2025. And in this video, I'm going to cover the 5 key principles to create campaigns that actually cut through the noise and generate interested replies from highly qualified prospects. Now let's dig in. In order to understand the current landscape of 2025, we have to look back to last year. Many will say that 2024 was the year of the deliverability crisis. But what does that actually mean? The 2 main B2B email service providers, Google and Microsoft, both started to prioritize stricter spam compliance. So what actually happened there? Spam complaints from their customers started to go up. As a result, the 2 companies started to increase their spam filtration. And in addition to that, there were more volume coming from automated email sending tools like SmartLead and Instantly. This all boiled together in a nice cauldron of deliverability challenges for most of the market. Now, in the beginning of 2025, that has largely stabilized, but there's a lot of changes that happened, and I'm actually going to cover what we're doing to address that now. So the first pillar for any cold email campaign is going to be your email infrastructure. First thing that we're going to be focusing on, the key principle, is limiting our daily volume. So our sending volume is the amount of emails that we're sending outbound from our inboxes every single day. I recommend maximizing that out to 15 per day from each inbox. So that really is meant to help us avoid triggering the spam filter from those ESPs, right? Second one here, we have multiple domains and multiple inboxes, and you want to send from SmartLead. So this is called horizontal sending infrastructure. This basically diversifies your sending infrastructure. So what that means is if you have multiple domains, you're saving your home and core domain from ever getting marked as spam. And in the worst case scenario where you have a number of people marking your inboxes under a single domain as spam, then only that domain is impacted. And then you have the rest of your inboxes to continue to send emails from, which ultimately allows you to maintain your volume, maintain your outreach, and continue your prospecting cadence. The third one here is making sure we're keeping our inboxes on warm up. So what is warm up? Warm up is basically putting your emails into a pool with other providers who are sending emails back and forth. This allows you to increase your overall engagement rate, which looks good to the email service providers. By prioritizing all 3 of these, we're going to be in a good spot. So another thing to keep in mind is using your reply rates as a deliverability signal. So what do I mean by this? In many cases, if your campaign level reply rates exclusive of your out of office notifications is below 1%, that likely means you have a deliverability issue. The way you solve for this is by buying new domains, setting up new inboxes, and putting them back on warm up. If you are continuously getting reply rates above 1%, you're probably in a good spot. In a worst case scenario, this is just how you fix it. So it's super simple there. Last one here is if you want to minimize any sort of downtime from your domains getting marked as spam or burning, then you can just have additional infrastructure, just contingency infrastructure set up so you can minimize any downtime. So that basically means just have a few inboxes that are sitting on warm up that are not actually used in outbound campaigns. So this will allow you to just, you can just reattach those inboxes to the campaigns, and it'll allow you to keep sending at scale without any sort of interruption in your outbound. The next one on our list is our strategy. So what does that actually mean? The campaign that we're actually going out to the market with will be entirely informed upon who we're actually reaching out to. So this is based on our ideal customer profile. And so really with most of the tools that exist out there, like Apollo and ZoomInfo, the spray and pray which is building a really large list and putting together a quick campaign and sending it out, is really the big reason why companies like Google and Microsoft are increasing their spam compliance. And so the way that you avoid this is using a tool called Clay. So here's the process. Clay is, in short, a spreadsheet on steroids. It allows you to intake data, manipulate data, output data, specifically around doing your campaigns and your lead research. So the steps and the process that we're doing here is, first, we want to map our total addressable market. We'll use Clay or Google Maps to do that. And so this allows us to get a full picture of who are all of the potential customers that we could work with on a company level. So once we have all of those total companies, what we'll do next is use key intent signals to filter out good fits and bad fits. So, hey, we're only looking for companies of a certain age, meaning they've been around for a certain number of years, which indicates that they're a real business and they probably have a certain number of revenue, right? Maybe they just hired a new leader, which indicates, hey, they're looking to make changes, or they're looking to grow, invest in new initiatives. Perhaps they've got new funding, they've launched a new product. All of these things are going to be signals that you can use to do outreach to. And so once you actually have these signals, you can use that as your key personalization. So personalization is something that a lot of people talk about in the outbound space. And with tools like Clay, it becomes very easy to do personalization at scale. So one-to-many personalization and making sure that it's actually relevant. And this is different than just saying, hey, I saw you went to this college. How did you like it? That's a pretty common old school one. It doesn't really work anymore because it's played out and it doesn't actually add any value. So instead, you'll want to use some of the research that you've done as a way to personalize it, right? So, hey, I saw you had some new funding, or hey, I saw you released these new products. Love the way they're looking, or love the way they're working, right? That's a much better entry point than just saying, hey, unrelated thing, thought it was interesting, right? So then from there, what you'll do is you actually find those people at those companies using tools like Apollo, or we've built some really great solutions around creating a custom AI search agent. So basically it'll go and find the relevant people at the companies, automatically do the research and enrich for them. So that's some really cool stuff, but a couple ways you can do this. The key thing here is just making sure that you're only doing outreach to good fit prospects. That's going to be one of the biggest killers to a campaign, is reaching out to people who are completely irrelevant to your offer or your service. If you can do that, you're going to be marked as spam way less frequently and continue to stay in the inbox. So next one here. We got campaign management. So we have our infrastructure, we have our list, now we have our campaign. So let's actually figure out how are we going to manage this ongoing. So a couple key principles here. 3-step sequences are what we're doing today. So what that means is basically testing value props, we're lowering friction in email 2 with a Loom video, and then we're asking for a referral in the 3rd email. This is what we're doing for all of our clients, all of our internal campaigns, and it's pretty typical that we're seeing most replies happen on email 1. So what does this mean? We're testing our value propositions as the first thing that you really want to focus on in making sure that your campaign's actually working, right? So the next one here is reusing your list quarterly. So in many cases, people ask me and they say, hey, I've contacted my prospect in January 2025. When can I contact them again? They haven't got back to me. They didn't tell me they weren't interested, but they didn't say anything in a positive way. So because businesses make decisions typically on quarterly bases, what you can do is put a new campaign out starting in the 2nd quarter. And from there, you'll be able to just come up with new outreach, new value propositions that you validated from your previous month's campaigns. This allows you to continue to stay fresh. People don't remember that they got a cold email from you, even if it wasn't very good. People need to be reminded. Even if they want to hear from you, they need to be reminded. They're busy, they have a lot going on. And so, you're doing them a service if you have a solid value proposition and a really good service that actually delivers. And how you do this, right? Thinking about new priorities. So if they are making decisions on a quarterly basis. They weren't interested last quarter. This new quarter, hey, maybe they got a new marketing leader. Maybe they got a new overall like strategy from the company leader. So those are some things that could potentially change. And as a result, we're going to be leveraging that to reach back out to them in the future, seeing, hey, what changed? And the last one here is targeting a specific lead to interested reply ratio. So in doing so, what we're doing is we want to get validated at a 1 to 200 ratio. So what that means is every 200 leads, at least one person replies with positive intent. So once you've gotten to that level, you have validated your value proposition. This means, hey, the market wants what we're selling here. Let's scale up our volume. Let's do more and let's book more meetings, right? Before you get this number validated, you're probably going to want to keep your volume a little bit lower. And then, like I said, yeah, you want to scale that value prop across the campaign. And then once you start to get those replies, you'll book a lot of them in right away. Ideally, it's around 50%. Some of them won't reply back. So what you're going to do in that case is just continue to nurture them ongoing. So just enter them into a long-term nurture sequence. This is why creating content is super, super important in any sort of outbound. You just continue to like follow up with them. Say, hey, I put this new guide together. I made this new video. I have this new checklist. This is going to show you how to achieve this specific result. If you can do all those things over time, the prospect who responded today, but because they have a lot of other priorities on their plate, they're not getting back to you over the next month, they won't forget about you because you've continued to put yourself in the position to give them value, be useful, and stay front of mind. So this is the core strategy to making sure that you're staying in the inbox. Starts with email infrastructure, the list, campaign management. Now, if you want some help actually building these campaigns for yourself, then book a call at levergrowth.io. I will personally walk you through the strategy, see if it's a good fit for you, and then if it makes sense, you'll work together with me one-on-one. Now that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Talk to you then. Peace.